everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my new aquascape for my Blackwater tank. Essentially this is going to be a tank for my little brother. We are planning on keeping some cherry shrimp and some endlers and guppies. He wanted to keep it better in here, but I was thinking it's a bit too small, and with the hardscape I don't know how much the better would like it. So here you guys go, this is just going to be the short video for you. For the choice of substrate, I've decided to just go all aquasoil. I generally like to use fluval stratum, but they didn't really have any in stock. But aquasoil, this stuff works really good too. Basically, fluval stratum is aquasoil, this is just a different brand. I've decided not to cap it with sand or gravel or anything, and just leave it bare aquasoil substrate. Generally, people do like to cap their aquariums when using aquasoil, as it isn't as heavy as other substrates like sand or gravel. But in this tank, I'm not going to have anything that could possibly dig up the plants like corridors, or any general bottom feeder can go along the bottom and knock the plants. And especially new plants who don't have a fully developed root system throughout the tank. They aren't anchored in as well, and they keep floating to the top, and they can be a very big pain to, fix up. So for this scape, I'm not going for anything really with the depth. It's just sort of just a really quick one I thought I would make and have it just not really think about it too much. Just chuck stuff there and see how it looks. I am going to be updating on this, seeing how it grows. And I am going to be adding some tannins in the water so we can get a blackwater tank. So I have a lot of Indian almond leaves. I'm not going to boil the driftwood. I'm just going to go about with it. So see here, I'm going to add some more aquasoil. This is just so the substrate is a bit higher and get more nutrients to the plants, and just, yeah. So here we're just going to lay down some newspaper and fill up the tank. The newspaper so the substrate doesn't get disturbed and make a mess. So now we're just going to use some driftwood that I've just grabbed out of my stock. I have a small tiny online store just getting ready to launch properly, and I had this one lying around. It was damaged and I couldn't really sell it, so I thought I'd put it to use and use it in this scape. So for some more hardscape, I was thinking of dragonstone. I had a bit of that lying around, and this stuff already has bacteria on it, so I thought I could use it and make it up the back. So for the forefront of the tank, I'm just going to put in some dragonstone. This has a couple little strands of Java moss growing on it, so later on when it spreads it'll look a lot cooler. So the back of this shrimp hide, I really like this hide. It looks really cool and fits in with the tank, even though it isn't, natural. It was damaged and cracked at the back, but it still looks cool, and I have an idea for it later. So I've just taken a few cuttings from my 4-foot tank and my plant farm, and I'm just going to chuck in a few of the plants. So here we have some water wisteria. This one grows big, leafy and tall, and I'll put that in the mid. I want it to sort of just grow around the log later on. So here is a plant that I've had a mental blank on, and I completely forgot what it's called. I have heaps of this stuff. It grows really tall and has sort of slim leaves. I like them to put them at the front of my tank. Some people like to put them at the back, which I do later on, but planting a few little ones here and there at the front makes it look really cool and sort of just cute little plants. So I like to plant the same species of plants relatively close together, because this is a really good planting strategy. As the roots grow, they sort of connect, and if one plant is suffering and calls for nutrients, specific nutrients and things like that, it will receive them, but so will the other plants, which are usually likely, likely have the same issue if that one plant is nutrient deficient or not getting enough energy or whatever. It sort of just helps out its friends as well. Much like the water wisteria, I'm going to add a temple plant here, or I think hygrophilia is the proper name. I just like to call it temple plant. And it grows really leafy and really tall, and it looks really cool. My corridors got really hungry and started ravaging around the tank and ended up uprooting this wisteria. So this one has a fully fledged root system, and I'm just going to chuck it in there and have a crack and see how it goes. So here's some cold water vallisneria. I've actually planted this in a lot of my tropical tanks, and they actually do really well. For some reason, they're actually growing better than the colder water tanks. So I like putting it in the foreground because it looks really cool. And yeah, eventually when it grows longer and stringy, I just cut it, and it doesn't end up being too much of an issue, and it looks really cool. I accidentally forgot to include this part in the video, but if you have a look in the top tube of the shrimp hide, there is actually some Java moss. I've stuffed that in the back, and it's going to grow around the little chip at the back and through the crevices, and that's where it's holding on to. So it's actually really good support for the Java moss, and when it grows and expands and covers the shrimp cave, I'm pretty sure it's going to look really cool. So here is another temple plant, putting it in the foreground. It is a bit nutrient deficient. It was a bit hidden under a lot of the wisteria in my forefoot, and it has some blackbeard algae. I just pulled a couple of the leaves off, and I'm just going to try and replant it and see how it goes. This is sort of just a basic, as I said, not thinking about it too much plant, no CO2. Mainly the nutrients are just going to be from the aquasoil and the light. I have put it in 2 times speed because I did have a lot of struggle trying to get the plant actually in there. In hindsight now, I probably should have trimmed those bottom 2 leaves off there and helped it fit better. But it still ended up staying in there, and I just moved a bit of the aquasoil there to even it out, and I think it looks good. So at the back I'm putting an Ambulia strand. So after this I'm just going to go ahead and fill up the tank now. I'm just going to put a bag on the top to stop the substrate moving, but here we go. So here you can see in the corner, the left hand side, on top of my brother's snake, little baby snake tank, I have some Indian almond leaves. So these are for the tannins, and the shrimp that we are eventually going to put in here after it's cycled like to munch on this decaying stuff, and it's really good for the aquarium. Blackwater tanks look really cool. I'm 99% sure that Blackwater tanks are tanks with lots of tannins that go brown. My brother was looking for a sort of a swampy vibe, and later on with the brown murky water, I think it will look cool. So here I'm just gonna throw some almond leaves there, leave it there to let it sink, and see how it goes. So in the back, you might have also noticed I have another tiny little nano driftwood piece, and I've just stuck a Java fern to that. But so here we are. So for the next step to cycle the aquarium, I'm going to add mosquito fish. Don't worry, these aren't any guppies, and I do understand that some people call this fish abuse, but mosquito fish in Australia are pest fish, absolutely horrible for our waterways, and they're really hardy, and they help cycle my tank. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to put these mosquito fish back into the waterways. I'm just going to feed them to the axolotl. One of them does not look too healthy, so I probably won't feed that to them. So here's the tank, guys. Let me know what you think. I will include a short little video later on of what the tank looks like with the tannins in it. It looks sort of cool, waiting for it to clear up, but I reckon it will look really cool in the end. So I will post a video about when the tank is finished and adding the shrimp and endlers or guppies. We haven't decided yet. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video wasn't too boring. I didn't really put too much effort into it like normal. It's just sort of a little fun video. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know, and I might be able to make more relaxed videos, this kind of content. So thank you guys so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. If you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're growing very fast, and I'm very happy, and I would like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.